What do we do to fix the problem? I went out and got an independent, nonpartisan commission of financial people. Forget about politicians. Let's get financial people to give us a suggestion on how to fix this problem. And they came forward with a plan that is fairly direct and straightforward, that can fix this problem without reducing people's pension benefits. First thing is to reduce health benefits from the Platinum Plus level to the Gold level, which is the equivalent of what most people who get health benefits in the private sector get. That move alone, at the local, county, and state level, would save $3 billion a year. What do we do with that $3 billion a year? Take that $3 billion and move it right into the pension system. That would increase our payment from this year, a payment of $1.3 billion into the pension system, to a $4.3 billion pension payment, which would start to bring, over the course of the next couple of decades, our pension system into full funding. Next thing you do is freeze the pension system where it is now. No new members. If you start working for the state, or the county, or localities from here forward, you get a 401k program. Now, this is usually the time when some people who are from the public sector union say, yeah, but what about the governor's pension? Let me make it clear, all of you, I don't get a pension. I have a 401k plan. So I take money out of my paycheck every other week. I put it into a 401k plan. The state matches a small amount of that. And when I leave the governorship, I get to take that money with me. It's the way that most people now in our state and in our country plan for their retirement. Through IRAs or 401ks. Not through defined benefit pension systems where they're guaranteed a certain amount in a check every month. So for new people, not the people who are already in, for new people, freeze the plan. Anybody new, you get a 401k plan, you don't get a pension. Last, turn the money over to the unions. Take the politics out of the pension system. Don't let the politicians near it anymore. Let the union people who are in charge of the unions be in charge of the money for their members. Let them make the decisions about how to invest it and what to do from here forward. We do those steps, we fix this problem. And in February, the teachers union agreed to that framework. They said, let's talk about it. We're not agreeing to every specific of it, but let's sit down and talk about it. Legislative leaders said they thought it was an interesting plan and were willing to talk about it. But what happened? Politics comes into it again, everybody, and the courts. And so now, we have the teachers union walking away and saying, we don't even want to talk anymore. And we have the legislative leaders, Senate President and Speaker, joining in a lawsuit to force the state to make the full pension payment. Now, I want to stop here for a second so that you understand exactly what happened on Monday when they joined the lawsuit. The payment that we made for this year, which is about $650 to $700 million, was supposed to be $1.6 billion more than that. Now, they passed the budget that had it at $650 to $700 million. The legislature passed it, and I signed it with that number. They're now suing to force the court to force them to do what they didn't do. They're essentially suing themselves. It's extraordinary. It's absolutely extraordinary. They are suing themselves to get someone else, to get them to do what they were unwilling to do. And if you take it at their word, that means we need to find another $1.6 billion in the next 8 weeks. I can guarantee you, I don't have it in my bottom desk drawer at the governor's office. And an additional $1.7 billion for next year's budget. That's $3.3 billion. So my question to them is pretty simple. Where's the money? Where's the money? You want to make the payment? Okay. I want to make the payment too. Well, where's the money? They need to come up with nearly $3.3 billion, and I think all of you should be asking them, where's the money? Because let me tell you, so you understand this, what we'd have to do to raise $3.3 billion. Sales tax right now is 7%. The sales tax, if we decide to raise that to raise the 3.3 billion, would have to be increased from 7% to 10%. So raise your hand if you're looking for a 10% sales tax. Nobody. Okay, let's go to option 2, because New Jersey really only has 2 big taxes that create a lot of revenue: the income tax and the sales tax. We have a corporate business tax, but raising that, any amount would not come near generating $3 billion. And then after the corporate business tax, the next highest amount of revenue that we get from any source is from the lottery. So there's really only 2 taxes to raise. So you all have rejected the option, because I'm letting you play government. You've rejected the option of the sales tax from 7% to 10%. So here's option 2. Option 2 is to increase the income tax. Now, we have to increase the income tax on everyone. Everyone who pays the income tax would have to have an increase, not just the sector people, everybody. And we have to increase the income tax 29%. That would raise about $3 billion. 29% increase in the income tax, or an increase from 7% to 10% in the sales tax, to just pay for public sector pensions. So I want to know from the Senate President and the Speaker, which one are they picking? Or do they want to cut spending? Unlikely, but let's see. We would have to eliminate all aid to hospitals in New Jersey, and hospitals would close. That would get us about a third of the way there. Then we could eliminate all municipal aid. Every bit of aid that goes to every town to help pay for the things that happen in the town. That gets us the next third of the way there. And then maybe we could reduce school funding. No, we can't do that. The courts won't let us do that. So we can't eliminate school funding. So we got to find another $1 billion plus someplace else. Maybe it's we eliminate all property tax rebates and all senior freeze payments to help keep seniors in their homes. We can do that. That's just to pay for 1 year of public sector union payments. Listen, I hate to be the one come here and give you bad news. Like, I'd love to be a governor during a time, like Governor Kane was, when there was all kinds of money pouring in, and you could spend all kinds of money and make everybody happy. It's much easier as a politician. You get to say yes to everybody. And everybody likes you. You want something? Yes. You want something? Sure, why not? I'm not governor those times. Well, let me tell you this, you got to ask these folks, where are they getting the money? Where are they getting the money? They filed a lawsuit to force themselves to do something. Okay, now where do you get the money? And let me tell you, it reminds me of the story that my mother used to say to me all the time. When I would go over as a kid to the store, I'd say, Mom, can I have that? And whatever it was, she'd say, sure, Chris, you can have that. This is what you do. Go home, go in the backyard, pick the money off the money tree, take the money, bring it to the store, you can buy it. And I'd say, well, Mom, we don't have a money tree in the backyard. And she said, that's right. We don't. See, I knew we didn't have a money tree in the backyard, so that ended the conversation. Here's the problem. You're the money tree. You're the money tree. See, they can't print money like the federal government does. We can't borrow money from the Chinese like the federal government does. In New Jersey, we've got to balance our budget every year. So they made this promise on Monday. It's a promise. They wrote to the court and said, enforce the law. So how are they going to pay for it? That's the next question. And let me guarantee you, they won't answer you. They won't answer you. They'll just say, well, the governor agreed to the law that we passed, so we should pay. I'm all for it. I'd love to pay it. The money didn't come in. So what are we supposed to do? We got to make choices. So where's the money? Where's it going to come from? I fear that they're going to wait till after the election in November, because the whole assembly's up for election in November, and then they're coming to the same money tree that they've come to every time. Every time. Because Because there's only one money tree in New Jersey, everybody, and I'm looking at you. You're the money tree. And they want to make these promises that are unrealistic in court documents to their friends in the public sector unions who support them for election. So they get reelected, they get all the money from the teachers union and the other unions. And then they're not going to them for the money. They're Robin Hood, all right. They're going to take it from you and give it to them. And I'm okay with them getting their pensions. And I'm okay with them having health benefits. But not Platinum Plus benefits anymore because we can't afford them. And the Obama administration says you shouldn't be giving them anymore. And I'm not for making what is the second highest tax state in America, the highest tax state in America. See, because I want my children to live here. And I bet you do too. And if someday they bless me with grandchildren, I want my grandchildren to live here. I want to be able to get in my car and drive to the Little League game and watch it. I want to be able to go to the dance recital without getting on an airplane. I want to be able to go to that one-year-old birthday party around the kitchen table and watch that one-year-old kid trying to blow the candles out without having to get in an airplane. And that is whether they stay here or go, or whether I have to go because I can't afford it. And I think that's what you want too. So, listen, I'm a politician, and I understand politics, and I understand politicians have to say certain things at times to satisfy certain constituencies. But man, don't file a paper in court to do that. You want to go and have a press conference and stand on the steps of someplace and say he should make the payment and blubber on. That's fine, I understand. But don't file a paper in court that essentially is leaving the bill to all of you. It's not right, especially when there's other solutions that we can come to fix this problem. And here's what they'll do this spring too, get ready for it, because they've done it 4 out of the last 5 springs. They will say to you, oh, no, we've got a solution. We're going to raise taxes on the rich people. No taxes for all the rest of you. We're going to raise taxes on the rich people. Well, here's the fact about that. Raising taxes on the rich people, who already pay the second highest tax rates in America, will raise about $500 million. We have a $3 billion problem. 3.3 billion. That's $500 million, everybody. And let me tell you what's happening to the rich people in New Jersey. First of all, millionaire's tax in New Jersey, we already have one. We have a millionaire's tax. Now, in New Jersey, of course, it starts at $400,000. The millionaire's tax starts at $400,000. Only in New Jersey did that kind of math actually have to work and operate. So I say to people all the time, the only way to sell that is if you're not a millionaire but you want to feel like one, come to New Jersey. You don't have to be a millionaire, and we'll tax you like a millionaire. And you can tell all your friends you pay the millionaire's tax. They'll just assume you're a millionaire. Be good for cocktail party talk. They want to raise that millionaire's tax another 0.75 to bring it to up over 10.75%. Be careful. You know what happened last year? Last year, without the tax increase, 10,000 millionaires left New Jersey. 10,000 millionaires left New Jersey last year. That doesn't mean they used to be millionaires, they're not. That means they're still millionaires and they took their money someplace else. People of wealth can move. And they can move easily. And you know where most of those people moved? Florida. Why? Not just because of the wonderful climate. 0 income tax. 0 income tax in Florida. So, if you're going to raise your income tax from 9% to 10.75%, where do you think they're going next? The last thing they'll tell you is, it's only for 3 years. Right? Of course. Because I'm sure 3 years later they will definitely get rid of it. No doubt about it. What will happen is these folks won't wait 3 years to find out. 10,000 left last year. And our state depends on wealthy people to pay a disproportionate amount of taxes. Top 1% in the state pay over 40% of the income tax. So So you don't want them going. Because the costs don't get significantly less, but the revenue does. So they'll say that again this year. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's not nearly enough money to fix the problem, and we'll get more people heading for the border, which is not good for our state. Because it not only is bad for tax revenue, everybody, by the way, it's bad for all of our organizations across the state who count on charitable contributions and work with folks who have been successful in life. We need those folks to continue to be here, to donate to the local hospitals, to the local organizations. So, there's no easy answers to this, but they're not complicated. We laid out the plan. Everybody knows it'll work. So now we got to see if we have the political will to do it or not. If we don't, one of two things is going to happen. One, taxes are going to be raised significantly here again. 10% sales tax, or 29% increase in the income tax, or the pension system's going to go back. And all those people who are counting on those pensions to take care of them in later life won't happen. To me, either one of those options is unacceptable, and we don't have to accept it. So we shouldn't. So that's what I'm here talking about. Now, I'd love to talk about other stuff, but when you look at it, I'll give you one last statistic, and then we'll go to questions. This coming fiscal year, new budget, we'll have $1 billion in additional revenue. No tax increase, it's just more people are working. People are making more money than they did the year before, so tax revenue is going up. An extra $1 billion. Every nickel of that $1 billion is going to pensions, healthcare, and debt service. Every nickel. Every nickel. We can't sustain this, everybody. Now, I'm governor for another 2.5 years. More of my governorship's in the rearview mirror than it's through the windshield. And I can make my way through this. Put Band-Aid here and a Band-Aid there. I can make my way through and leave it for the next person. I don't want to do that. There's one last big problem to fix here. I want to fix it. And then leave this state in condition for the next person that will allow it to take off even more than it has already. And I'm willing to take the political heat for it. But I need people who are willing to do it with me. So we need to do that. All right, now we'll go to questions.